You are listening to Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Canvas Me, where we go behind the scenes to explore the human side of beauty professionals, learn how they found balance in their lives, overcame obstacles, and created communities that transcend the ordinary. Hosted by Canvas Me co-founders Jen and Matt Martinelli alongside Canvas Me directors April and Megan, Making It is your guide to navigating the ever-evolving world of beauty.
Welcome to Making It, your backstage pass to beauty. I'm April, and our guest Sylvia Ingram dreamed of becoming a hairstylist, but those childhood dreams were delayed by corporate life. Overcoming setbacks and personal struggles, Sylvia's journey led her back to her true passion, becoming a salon owner and a cosmetology teacher, demonstrating unwavering dedication despite adversity. All right, Sylvia, so we're excited to have you, and I wanted to kind of kick off. Do you feel like you've made it?
I feel like if you ask me if I made it, I say no, because in this industry or my personality itself, I feel like I've never made it because there's always something new. There's always something that changes in this industry. I mean, really, it changes daily, right? There are so many brands, so many products, so many different haircuts that come out. And even like when I teach in school, we have like, okay, now we have the butterfly haircut. We used to have the shag. It's always a small variation. And so there's always something new to learn, which is, I think, so great and amazing, that we have that.
Yes, for sure. And Sylvia, speaking on that a little bit, have you felt like you've seen trends come back?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They make the return a little bit more modern, but it all has been around before. Yes.
Yes. Do you have a favorite one that has come back that you were just excited to see?
I can tell you my least favorite.
Okay.
my least favorite is the mullet. Or even the perms. I see more and more guys, like young guys, they come in and they want perms.
Yes, I am seeing that too. And that was one of the biggest trends that I was shocked to see. So I grew up with a family beauty salon in the 80s and early 90s. So I was a guinea pig for a lot of perms and a lot of haircuts that I don't think are on their way back. But I was shocked to see that perms are becoming, kind of the new trend, or it's been around now for a couple of years, and especially with young men. So
Yes.
I feel like it's really challenging maybe some hairstylists that are more new to the industry where perms were not their favorite thing in school, because we all know it's, it's stinky.
Yes.
But I always said that growing up with a beauty salon, perm smells like home, and people think I'm crazy. But that's just basically what I grew up with. So
Yeah. So here is maybe food for thought. Whoever creates the perms, maybe, get rid of the smell, if that's a possibility. Right?
Yeah.
That would be huge.
That would be huge for so many. So yes, if there's any brands listening, please make that product.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, fantastic. Well, Sylvia, so I'm excited to hear your story. And I know that you had quite the journey getting into the hair industry. So take us a little bit back to, when did you first realize that you had a passion for becoming a hairstylist?
Yes, absolutely. So, as you know, I grew up in Germany. So my mother, she was not a licensed hairdresser, but she was a woman who could do anything. She would cook, she would bake, she would sew. And she did hair out of the kitchen. Like on Friday afternoons, that was my highlight when I came back from school. So she had those 3, 4 little ladies coming in, and she would cut their hair, style it, roller sets, you name it. And she would do their hair and they would talk and I would just sit there and just listen and watch. So that was my highlight. So then when I was done with high school, my parents were like, well, you have to think what you want to do, when you're done with school, what kind of career path you want to take. And I was like, that's easy. I want to be a hairdresser. And both of my parents were like, no.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Oh, yes. So they made me actually go to school to be and to work in an office. I think that was my mother's dream, to be honest. And so I went to school to become an administrative assistant slash secretary. I worked in that field for like 12 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So you went right into corporate land.
Oh,
and
yes.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Were you
Oh, yes.
feeling defeated to, I mean, I'm sure you naturally have this creative mindset.
Yeah. Well, defeated. I don't think I was old enough to understand.
Mm.
I really didn't like my job. But when it came to, because, after a couple of years, I had like 4 different departments that I used to write memos and, stuff like that. So I became very creative with that. So all the all the bosses, they were like, have a type it because it always looks nice. I was like, okay, I can do that. But then after I like 10 years later, after I got married, so my husband at that time, he was in the military. So he was American. So that's how I ended up over here. Um, so when I came over and I tried to find a job in my field at the time, which I, I could do like data entry and stuff like that, but I realized I wasn't getting paid because not, I was getting paid, but not enough, right? And because I didn't had a diploma, or I didn't went to college here, and I didn't had a degree, even though I had my degree, but it wasn't accepted over here. So that was the issue I was running into. So after a while, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go back to school in order for me to to make a decent amount. And I was like, well, I really don't want to go back to school for the same thing. So then I was thinking maybe I do something in the medical field. So it's a little bit different, but still the same. And then one day, I think the light bulb went on in my head, and I was like, wait a minute. If I go back to school, I'm going to do what I always wanted to do. I'm going to hair school.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how that started. So I started my cosmetology in 2002.
Okay.
I went to a technical college. So I lived in Georgia at the time. I went to a technical college, and what was very interesting, um, it was 5 semesters. The first semester had nothing to do with hair. Seriously.
Oh,
Oh yes. Had nothing to do. Well, at least back then I thought, it had nothing to do with hair. So my courses were psychology, English, math, and computers.
no. Wow.
Yes. Little did I know that psychology really comes in handy.
Yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I I was really, really anxious to you know, go to school because, as you know, it's my second language. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I can make it. I hope I can make it. And I studied. And the funny part was I was in class, and the students would look at me like, hey, what's this? I'm like, you asking me? This is your language. I was like, don't ask me. And but anyway, I after 5 semesters I graduated with honors, which I was very happy about. And I find out that if you do something that you really love and your heart is in it and you have a passion for it, at least I learn easier that way because it's something I want to do. When I look back and when I went to school back in Germany, I hated it. Really,
Oh,
my grades weren't that great. So, that's the big difference. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, yes, you go to work because you need to make money and everything. But really, if you think about it, if you find what you are good at or what you like and you have an interest in, it's so much easier. It's so much easier.
for sure. I mean, definitely, having a passion for something really
Mm-hmm.
takes you to a whole nother level, especially where you're learning something. And I can imagine that, going to cosmetology school was completely different than what you
Mm-hmm.
had gone to college before. So,
Oh, yes.
yes, this just must have seemed so streamlined for you of, okay, this is more of where I belong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when I was in school, there were students there, and I don't understand why you would even go to school if you're scared to do hair. I
Yeah.
mean, literally, there was a girl in my classroom. She had a client, her first client, and she had to do a roller set, and she was in the back crying. She was like, I
Oh
can't do
no.
this. I was like, what? Why are you here? you know? But, I don't understand it, but it happened.
For sure.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah. So when you graduated from cosmetology school, take us where you went next.
So this is funny too, because um, we had salons coming in to cosmetology school. They did mock interviews with us, right? And so we had, let's see, we had salons coming in, then we had chain salons coming in. And so we interviewed with the different um, salon owners. And so there was this one lady, and she was doing mock interviews, and she was actually from a chain salon.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, we're looking for people, especially like, you know, um, new talent and blah, blah, blah. And I said to my friend, I'm never going to work for them. And you know what? It was funny because at the end of the day, that's where I ended up. So because they were
Oh my
literally
goodness.
like, yes, they were literally like a mile from where I used to live. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go there. And you know what? I stuck with them for 5 years. And it
Wow.
was actually it was the best thing that happened because I had my free education. I from a stylist, I went to assistant manager. Then I made it to manager. So I saw the whole aspect of the business, you know. And I remember the first time, the assistant manager, not so much because I still had, my go to person. But when I took on that manager role, boy, I was like, my first day, I went back in the office. I was like, I didn't sign up for all of this. I was like,
Oh, I
it is.
understand. Yes, it's hard because I have a background of being a salon manager, and there is many hats that you have to wear that you
Mm-hmm,
do not recognize, especially if you were
mm-hmm.
comfortable being behind the chair, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what really so when I came into the salon, when I was the manager and I was back in the office, my stylists were like, are you working today or are you just back in the office? I was like, what?
Oh
I'm
no.
like, oh my God. Yes. I was like, okay. You just don't know. You just don't know. Yeah, what's
Yeah.
all entail. Yeah. So,
So so definitely so you went right from, school to being behind the chair to really excelling. So, I love the takeaway first of all is you never know where you might end up even in the moment when you interviewed with them
hmm
you're like I'm not going to work for them. And then you
hmm
end up working for them for 5 years and it's one of the
yep,
best things you said. And so I think that that is such a great takeaway of just staying open to opportunities because you never know
absolutely.
never know where they're going to lead you to. So, okay. So were you manager for long? Because it sounds like this was not your favorite position.
You know what? I actually got out of the industry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. So I was the manager for like, I would say maybe 2 years. But let's go back a little bit because, like I said, that was in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then I moved to PA because my marriage with my first husband didn't work out.
Okay.
So I left. I moved to Pennsylvania. I didn't want to move to Pennsylvania either. So that was thanks to my mother and my sister. So my sister lives in PA. And when I went through my divorce, they were like, you know, they were working on me. You should move up there. That's what my mom was saying. And I was like, I really don't want to because I like the weather down here, and I have my friends here. But then they kept on, and I was like, okay, if I go, then I need to go now because my son was still like, he was about 7 or 8. And I didn't want to leave when he's like a teenager, That's for me, that's not a good timing. So I decided, close your eyes and just go.
Trust the process.
So
Okay.
yes. So the good thing was because I worked for a chain salon, I was able to transfer, because as you know, if you work for private salon, you have your clients. Obviously, they're not gonna follow you, especially not from state to state. And with the chain salon, you always have, that safety cushion. You always have clients. So that's what I did. I transferred from state to state. I had to change my license, which was not a problem. I was licensed for 2 years before I came over here. And so then when I came to PA, that's where I actually became a manager.
Okay.
And my salon had 15 stylists.
Wow.
Yes. So, I felt responsible for them and I was there. And even when it was, not my schedule, but when there was something happening, I had to go. So that one night I got a call. It was like 9 o'clock. So there was an issue. So I was like, okay, I have to go in. So my son was already sleeping. And as a single parent, what you gonna do? I had to wake him up, take him with me. By the time I had everything resolved, it was like 11 o'clock at night. So on my way back, the kid was in the car crying. I was like, I can't do this. I really can't. I need to do something else as bad as I don't want to, but it's not going to work. So I got out of the industry for like, I want to say 4 years. I hated my job.
Oh, no. What happened?
Yes. Oh, yes. So from being, in the industry that I love, and I ended up back in an office.
Oh, no.
So I still was able to work with people. My job was I worked for a company that took care of the elderly. So we had to schedule, caregivers.
Sure.
And I was able to match them up. So I was on the phone all day, which that was not the bad part. I was still able to work with people. But it's, office, you sit all day, you really don't see them, you can't touch them, like you can change their hair even if you want to. So, I did it for 4 years. That was a tough job. It really was.
Sure. Yes. It sounds like it was a time where, it was a change that you felt was necessary at the time in your life, but it was just this realization that it wasn't connecting to you. And
it was not, but I really had, it was either my son or the hair. I was a single parent. So
sure.
that was it. So I had to make a choice and my son comes first. As every parent hopefully would understand that.
Of course.
But then as he got older and the company I worked for, they downsized. And so when they downsized, I was the only left in the department. I was like, why me? Like, But anyway, so something else happened and I was like, it's time to go. So I put in my 2-week notice and I left. And they were asking me, do you have another job? I was like, nope, but I'll get one. So I actually, from there, I worked for um, another company. I started part-time as a stylist again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we went back to hair.
We went back to hair. Oh yes. Then a couple of months later, again I was the manager.
You can't escape this.
I
Yes.
know. I know. So, which was great. The only thing with this company, when you managed the salon, that's all you did. No hair. The good thing was I was in the process of building up the salon. So when there were clients and I didn't have, the manpower to do it, I jumped in. But then after 2 years, the company closed doors.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what now? So now I have to find a salon. So I found a salon close by. So I took my few people that I had from this salon and I moved over there. It was a private owned salon. And it didn't take me that long to build up a book. And it was really, it was, yeah, it was good. I liked going there. I loved my clients, work was good. The money was good. The owners, they were not so good.
Oh no.
Yes. So, I know this is crazy. So anyway, I stayed in that salon for 2 years. At the end, I was asked if I want to manage the salon, and I was like, well, I really didn't want to manage, but if you need help, yes. So the problem there was I could manage the salon, manage in their terms, but wouldn't get paid for it. And
Oh no.
also, yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
also, not really manage, only what they tell me to do. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, that was not what I envisioned. So,
And that's one of the hardest things, like being in a management position, because I have experienced those types of roles where you end up being micromanaged from above. And there,
yes.
is little room to actually showcase your manager skills. And I'm sure from all your experience, and even before you got into the industry, you developed all of these skills that really helped kind of carry these businesses to where they are. It just felt like, from hearing your story, it feels like you just kept trying to find your place of belonging and something would shift. And then all of a sudden it was not the right place.
Yes.
It was like, oh my goodness, can I win?
I know. That's really, but you know what? I never look at things that way. I feel like if one door closes, another one opens up. You know, if you, and I don't know, like I could be, feeling like I'm in a dump, but I just can't let it affect me because you feel down and you feel sorry for yourself. All you're going to do is just making it worse, you know? So, and I always say, like, even like my clients, when they come and, everybody has a story, right? And they start talking, and I'd be like, look, you have a choice to make. Either you can like dwell on, the not so good things, or you can, pick yourself up and keep going and make things better for yourself. That's all you can do. Nobody's going to do it for you.
And you're a true example of this because your story keeps unraveling. Okay, so tell us a little bit more. So they asked you to become a manager, and you said, "I'll help," but then they weren't going to compensate you. So that doesn't sound like a good opportunity.
No, it does not. And not only that, there was, in due time, I learned that there was a lot of favoritism. And that's something I just don't go for. It's not fair. It doesn't do anything good for the salon, doesn't do anything good for the morale. So, like I said, after the 2 years, I was like, I come to work and I feel it, like this feeling every time I come and I park my car. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go in there. I really don't feel like going in there. And then one day, and I sat in my car for like 10 minutes. I was like, you know what? I can't stay here. Like, it's not fair to my clients because then I go in there and they'll be like, what's wrong? Like, I should be, when they come in, I should be happy and do their hair and they should feel good, not coming in and see my long face, you know? So I was like, I decided, no, I'm going to go. So here's a funny story. So I got everything in place. I picked a day. I was like, okay, this is the day I'm going to leave because the owners, they were on vacation. So they came back, let's say a Wednesday. So I had everything. I had like 2 clients in the morning. I blocked my book off and I was waiting for them to come in so I can tell them, this is it. So they were supposed to come in at 1 at, I think, 11:30. One of the stylists picks up the phone and she was like, I just hear her saying, okay, so you're going to be in tomorrow. I was like, oh God, I hope that's not them. And so anyway, she gets off the phone. She was like, okay, they're coming tomorrow because they got kicked off the airplane. I was like, what?
What?
Yes. Yes. I was like, oh no. I was like, I can stay here. So I said to the girl, I was like, I need to talk to you. And she said, okay, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I have to leave. She said, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I said, no, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back.
Oh no.
She was like, what? I said, don't worry. I said, I call tomorrow and talk to them. You don't have to do anything. They really ruined this for me, really. But what can I do? So anyway, so I left. I felt bad for the girl. But I left. I called them the next day and I don't even remember what was said, but I left there and I found another salon which was really a good experience. It was really great. But again, I stayed there 1 year. And but the salon owner, he was very, I mean, he looked out for his stylist. He still has a great business. He got 5 salons. He
Wow.
does a lot of education. He got his own brand. Yeah, he's such an inspiration. And even to this day, now and then when I talk to him, I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be like you. But
Which is
yeah.
which is incredible to have that, along this
Mhm.
journey for you of feeling a little bit of, keeping of opening and closing doors, right? And
Mhm.
so to have someone now enter into your life that you get to work for that has become now an inspiration to you. And
Mhm.
I love that turn of
Absolutely.
events. And I take it he didn't ask you to manage, or did he?
No. 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 I don't think. You know what? His business is totally organized. He got
Mhm.
a front desk personnel. He got people that work in the office behind the scenes. He doesn't need a manager on the salon. That's it's day and night. It really is. It's day and night. And the education is great. I mean, I was able to go to New York twice to the New Redken Exchange. That was before COVID. But yeah, it was great. It was so inspiring, and he always has like um, brains coming in, teaching classes, and it's day and night.
And what a
Seriously.
difference when you have that type of a support system.
Yes,
Yeah, and when
absolutely.
you have that support system from above, I think it makes a huge difference for stylists, no matter where you are in your career, whether you're just starting out of school to a more seasoned, and having that foundation is really key, I think, to growing in this industry.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And also like mentors, like even in the salon, how many times, even still today, I feel like in this industry, there's never a time where you stop learning, you know? I mean, there could be a client and you need help with, or just a second pair of eyes to come up with the right color formula, you
For
know?
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I have stories of when I was a manager at a salon. So I'm not a licensed hairstylist, but I've always been in the management side of
Mhm.
things. And I do remember having some new hairstylists, try to work on my hair, and I'm a natural redhead. And I know that red is a little different than
Uh-huh.
some of the other colors. And I remember sitting in the shampoo bowl, and I could just feel the tensity around me. And my new young employee, I was like, I like to be a guinea pig. So I was like, yeah, let's
Mhm.
try something. And so I could feel her. And then I saw her run into the back room and ask a couple of the other master stylists. They both come out,
Mhm.
they're trying to be discreet, looking at my hair. And I was like,
Yes.
what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
But of course, they were able to fix it, and it was not a big deal. But I do
Mhm.
know, what it's like to be, for one, the customer, and then two,
Mhm.
knowing that I was her manager, and just the stress
Mhm.
and anxiety. But there is something to said to be having that team that can support each other and help figure out those moments of, high stress and anxiety, because there's nothing worse than being like, why is her hair green?
Yes. Why is her hair orange?
Yes.
Oh, that happened to me before.
Oh, it did?
Mhm. Oh yes, I had one of my clients. She came in. She was like a level 9 blonde, short hair, and she came in. I never forget this. Oh my gosh. She was like, "Do you think I can go a little bit lighter?" I said, "Yeah, no problem. It's one level lighter, right?" So I go back and I mixed the color, and all the color they were like in this little um um they were like labeled, right?
Mhm.
And I knew exactly where the 10 was, so I grabbed it and I put it on her hair. And as soon as I put it on, I walked back into the dispensary, and then I look outside. I was like, "Oh my gosh, her hair's like it's oxidizing orange." So I asked my manager. I was like, "Is that normal?" She was like, "No, take it off." So I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I go out there and I said to the lady, I said, "I think we have to rinse this." And she was like, "No, I told you my hair, it takes longer to process." I was like, "No, ma'am, we need to rinse this now." you know? So I said, "I don't know what happened. Maybe the color." I said, "Did you change your medication?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Okay." So I rinsed it. It was orange.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah. So I was like, "No worries." She said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, it's not the color that we want, so I'll be right back." I said, "I can fix it. No problem." I go back and I mix some lightener and I look at the bottle. So somebody stuck a 7 into the 10N. I was like,
No.
"Oh my gosh." Yes. But
Oh my goodness.
let me tell you, from that point on, I always check the tube, yeah, before I grab anything.
Yes.
hmm
Oh my goodness. What a great just kind of
Oh my
lesson learned.
gosh.
And just always a double check what you have and what you're about to mix, because it
Yes.
can be one of those moments, and especially where you had a client that knows her process time and was like,
hmm
no, I'm not ready yet.
I know. That was something else. Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, those are the little learning experiences.
Yes.
Not great, but they stick with you.
Yes, they do for sure.
Yeah.
And I have been on the other end as a manager, consoling, crying hairstylist of what do I do? I'm in a panic situation. And those are one of the most stressful times.
Yeah.
Well, Sylvia, I know at some point you became a salon owner. So
Yes.
how did you end up become a salon owner?
Okay. So my clients always ask me, when are you opening your own salon? I said, never. And they look at me like, really? I said, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with that. So I said, the only way I would open a salon, I said, if it falls in my lap and it comes with employees and is established. So that's exactly what happened.
Oh my goodness. So be careful what
Exactly
you say.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I believe in that. So when I worked for this one salon, when I said the owner is, um, looks out for his stylist and everything, and I was only there for a year. So the salon that I have now was like literally walking distance from where I used to live. I mean, I could get out of the house. There was a little strip mall, and that's where my salon is.
Wow.
And honestly, the owner before he passed away, so used to be a barber shop. And when they asked me, because the, the stylist and the barber who was in there, they knew me, they were like, "Don't you want to take it over?" I was like, "No, I don't." I was like, "This place needs a lot of work." And so, so my answer was no. But then thinking about it, and I was like, I live right here. If somebody takes it, and it goes and it does well, then it's like a one in a lifetime opportunity. That's how I felt. I felt like if I try it and it doesn't work out, then it didn't work out, but at least I gave it a shot. So that's how that happened.
Wow.
So I went in there and I made the changes and I ran with it.
That is fantastic. I mean, I cannot believe that is exactly what happened. You were like, no, I am resisting the idea of owning my own salon. Only if
I
X, Y, and
know.
Z happen. And
Yes.
then boom, there it is,
Hmm.
walking distance. Oh
I
my
know.
goodness.
I
Yes.
know. It's crazy. It
Wow.
really is. Yeah, it is. So I've been there now 6 years. Um, During this time, um, I have a barber, I have two hairstylists, and I just hired a new barber. So, and myself. Been there 6 years, and at some point, well, I think 2.5 years ago, I I got married a second time, and my husband at the time, um, he was he had to stop working because he was a disabled veteran. And I was like, "Look, dude, you have to do something. You cannot just stay home." I was like, "You're going to barber school."
Oh no. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes. He was like, "What?" I was like, "Yep, you're going to barber school." So,
That is, and so
mhm.
did he?
Yeah, he did. He told everybody he was voluntold to go.
That is a
Yeah.
great husband for one, and kudos to him for going. And oh my goodness, okay, keep going.
Mhm. So anyway, yeah, I mean, he went. So the barber's program is a year, and he made it halfway through, and he got sick one weekend, and unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh my goodness.
So yes, so here I was, like, what in the world?
Mm,
you know, I had that happening. Then I had a business. I was like, I mean, everything was like, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know, I knew I had to go, keep going and, at
sure.
some point pick up the pieces. But I think the first 2 months I worked very part time. But I knew I had to keep myself busy. So that's what I did. So I always wanted to become an educator.
Okay.
Since I finished my course license, actually, I just never did it. It was in the back of my mind, and I just never grabbed the opportunity to do it. Um, so so that was my next step. So I called around and I found a school who was very flexible because at that point we were going into the busy season at the salon, November, December. But I knew I was like, if I'm going to wait, I'm not going to do it. So the school that I went to, they were like, however many days, you just need X amount of hours until you finish. So I'm like, okay, if you let me come in 1 day a week, November, December, and then January, I can pick up more days. So that's how I did it. Yeah, I was very busy. And then in, when was it? July? Yeah, July of 2023, I got my license. But wait, before I went to state board to do my test 2 days before, I was involved in a car accident because somebody ran into my car. So I was like, I was supposed to study.
No.
Now I'm on the phone with the freaking insurance company. So anyway, I was able to get that done. And then that was July. And then in August, I started teaching at the different school. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought I can do full time, which I started out working full time at the school and had somebody else managing the salon. But it didn't work out as I intended to. So I worked full time for like 3 months and then I went back to part time, which I still work. I still teach 2 days a week and the rest I'm back in the salon.
Yes.
Yep. So.
Wow. Sylvia, talk about, you truly have been through so much and so many challenges and things that are unexpected. And, the fact that even a car accident right before you're supposed to take this test. Oh my goodness.
I know.
The fact that you're so positive and so determined. And I just love that about you. It's a truly inspiring of a mentality to have. So now that you have been teaching for a little while, do you find that it is, fueling your passion? Is the balance working for you? Tell us a little bit of, your kind of like, what is your future goals? I mean, you said you don't feel like you've made it yet.
No. So there's always something brewing in my head. So you know what? I don't even want to say that I made it. It's just like there's so much to explore in this industry. Like, and I also feel like, I'm nothing special or nobody special because I know we all have our struggles. I think really the key is just to, when you fall down, get back up. Don't just lay on the floor. It's but I think as far as me in the salon and that's all good. Like I said, I teach 2 days a week. The rest I'm in the salon. But I think at some point in the future, because I feel like I have so much to give to, students. Like, I mean, I see it in school. Even if it's just little things to me, when I, show them, they be like, oh, wow, I was like, this is great. I was like, it's really nothing, but they were like, no, it is. So they like hungry to learn. And I think that's really like what I want to do, like be a mentor to somebody, and I tell even like the students that graduate, I'm like, look, if you ever need help, just call me. I'm here, I'm a phone call away, so that's pretty much where I see myself going in that direction. But how that's gonna look, I don't know yet.
Well, if there's anything we've learned, you just saying it out loud, something is going to fall into your lap. So,
Yes, exactly. That's right.
yes. Yes. Well, I think you're a true inspiration, would be a
Yeah,
fantastic mentor,
thank
especially with
you.
all of your background. And, again, like I was saying, your incredible positive energy. I'm sure that students,
Thank
really
you.
connect with you. And the fact that you are just so open to teaching and guiding and, going through all of life's journeys, not just in the hair. And I'm sure you can just be such a great support system for people. So, Sylvia,
Thank
what do
you.
you feel is your purpose?
So I think I just said it. I think my purpose really is like to help people, even, is it the students, even clients. Like I have clients, they come to me and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do her hair. Um, there was this one lady. Oh gosh, that was another story. So this
Oh,
one
do
lady
tell. Do
it
tell.
was Father's Father's Day. It was a Sunday. I came in for her. I was like, no problem. I come in, I do your hair. And so when I got to the salon, um, I actually stopped at the store and I was, oh, let me get some flowers. I don't know why I did that, but I did. So when I got to the salon, she was standing outside. I was like, okay, yeah, I got some flowers for you. She was like, for me? I was like, yeah, why not? I said, it's Father's Day. She was like, oh my gosh, and it's my 35th anniversary. I said, congratulations. She was like, no, I'm miserable as hell. I was like, oh my God. I said, let's go inside. So we did like a counseling session before we start the hair. So that's what I mean. It's like everybody has their own problems,
Mm.
I mean, and sometimes even clients, when they just want to come in and they just want to talk, they just need the ear to listen, not even, somebody telling them what to do. Just sometimes just listen and pay attention, you know. And I try to tell my student, like when they work on clients, because they do, they are really lucky because they have so many people come in and they can, work on those human mannequins. That's what I call them. and I tell them, you know what, if you're with a client, make sure you pay attention to them. Don't be talking to your fellow students, because I've been in salons where the hairdressers, they talk amongst themselves. And I feel like, look, I'm paying for the service, so why are you talking to her? You're supposed to, you know, do my hair and pay attention to me. That's just me, but that's
Well,
how
I
I
think that
feel.
I think
Mhm.
that's a wonderful advice because it is so
Mhm.
true. Being a
Mhm.
customer myself, I'm
Mhm.
looking for that experience. I
Mhm.
want to go through that moment where it's for me. This is like that time that kind of feels like self
Mhm.
care. And for a lot of
Yes.
customers, this might be their only 1 hour or 2 hours, or if they're lucky, 3 hours away from whatever else is going on in
Mhm.
their life. And this is their moment to either feel beautiful or just connect and have that
Mhm.
moment. And so I think that is great advice to always just pay attention to who's in your chair. And
That is
honestly,
right.
yeah, and they're your biggest promotion as well.
Mhm.
So if they're
Mhm.
having an excellent experience, they're going to tell all their friends about, your services and things like that as well. So
Mhm.
I think that is a beautiful message to share to our listeners as well.
Yeah.
Well,
And
is
I also, one more thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I also say, like, you know, we do have also like days where we're not that great. I mean, we are human, right?
yes.
And like I say, when you're with a client and you make them feel, pampered, like, you give them 100%, and your haircut maybe not 100%, but it's not it is important, but it's not as important as making that client feel, you know, they're beautiful, they pampered and they have a great experience.
It's so true. It
Hmm.
really is so true. Because sometimes I always say, it's really about this moment in their day. it could be the one thing that they do where they interact with someone, right? And it can be
That's right.
changing of how their whole day goes after that, whether they feel beautiful or heard or seen. And I think that is so many are craving that right now, just in general. So, recognizing that being behind the chair, you are that person that gets to see people for who they are.
That is right.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of this industry, I think.
It truly is. Well, Sylvia, thank you so much for doing this. And like I said before, you are just an inspiration. And oh my goodness, you do not let anything get you down. And I'm excited to see, because I feel like someday I'm going to see that you are one of these great mentors that are in the industry.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for having me, April.
Of course. All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Canvas Me. Our mission is to give you a voice, help you find your place of belonging, and empower you to thrive in this beautiful industry. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will fuel your own journey in your career. Head over to canvasme.com and unlock the next chapter of your beauty journey. Create your portfolio, showcase your unique talents, and connect with a community that understands and celebrates your story. Subscribe to Making It for more inspiring stories, and let's continue making it together.